Hey BeerTube, Ryan back with another episode of San Diego Beer Vlog. For the next 3 reviews, I'm going to be looking at 3 beers from Russian River Brewing Company. They're located up in Santa Rosa, California, up north of San Francisco. First up, and for today, we're going to be looking at Consecration. This beer was aged, they do a blend of these beers. They're all 3 are going to be aged in barrels, and this one they aged 4 to 8 months. And the upcoming reviews, we're going to be looking at Temptation. This one's aged 9 to 12 months. And finally, I'm going to be looking at Supplication, and this one is aged 12 to 15 months. So I figure I'd go in order in terms of youngest to oldest as far as aging goes. Today we're looking at Consecration. This is classified as a American Wild Ale on beeradvocate.com. Although you're often hear this beer referred to as a sour due to the techniques they use in the brewing process for this beer. This one they oak in Cabernet Sauvignon oak barrels for the 4 to 8 months, and they also add in currants as well. So it's going to give it's going to be a darker beer. It's going to have a nice like cherry-like sourness to it. I've actually had this one on tap before, so I have a general idea of what to expect from it. And I believe all 3 of these beers use Brettanomyces, which is a type of yeast that kind of lends to a real like earthy funkness that you'll see in a lot of Belgian-style beers. And the other unique thing about this beer is they add in 2 types of bacteria, and the bacteria add in after it's aged all those months, adds in a nice acidity to the beer. And generally, if you're doing a home brew, you'll really want to keep out any of that type of bacteria, because it's going to lead to a lot of bad off flavors for your beer. But in this case, they want that because they're aging it, and they want that acidity in there, and they want that kind of earthy funkiness. They get the Brett yeast, and you're going to get some of the wine barrel character in there, and you got the currants. So it's a fairly complex beer, and it takes a while to make. So let's get this thing open. Nice pop. This one is clocking in pretty high. This is it's a darker style beer. It's 10% ABV, and I'm going to use my new Allagash little tulip snifter glass. The bottle says to not to disturb the yeast on the bottom. I know with a lot of, like, in this case, this is sort of Belgian inspired, even though it's American Wild Ale. They recommend for this beer to keep the yeast in the bottle, so I'm going to leave it in there. And just for all you beer geeks out there, know that I'm reviewing batch 004X3, so you can look that up on Russian River's website. They'll tell you, hopefully they'll have their notes. If you look for their past batches, they have review notes on it, everything they did to the beer. So color wise, as it's a very a clear beer. I didn't get any of the yeast in there. I'm seeing some golden colors on the bottom of the glass, but then you get a real nice reddish tint to it. There's sort of like a orangish color. Kind of gets into the copper colored beer. Didn't get much head, didn't expect much at 10% wild ale. Just a tiny bit of eggshell white head on there. Try to swirl it around, see if I can get a little head, get a little better aroma for this one. So you're getting like a nice tartness. There's this with this beer, there's like a sweet sourness, kind of yin and yang going on with it. And you also pick up some of the oakiness from the barrels. And get a little bit of a yeast quality to it. Not the most aromatic beer, but very nice. So let's dig in. Cheers. Although I haven't had too many sour ales, I am starting to get into the style. Occasionally I'll pick one up, but this is probably the sourest sour ale that I've had. That's where you hit up front. You get a lot of that acidity of that the bacteria leaves in the beer, and then you start getting that dark fruits, those like cherry currant notes that coming through. This one is not as sweet as some of the other sours can be. So up front you get some of that carbonation, gives it kind of like a sour soda like mouthfeel, and then towards the back the Cabernet Sauvignon character really comes into play. You get this very wine-like taste to it, and it goes down with a little bit of the alcohol there, kind of. So it's a very wine-like beer, but then it has up front has a nice kind of bit of puckering sourness to it. But midway through the tongue, the sourness is gone and it finishes very wine-like. So the finish on this beer, you get a nice wine-like dryness. Some of the fruity sour notes still kind of linger around though, and it's something I got used to drinking sours, and something I think a lot of people that enjoy soured ales is that nice bit of puckeringness that kind of develops in your mouth, and you just kind of keep wanting to drink it, so you keep getting that nice sour notes in there. And I think this beer does very well without being over the top with the sour notes on it. So overall, I'm going to give Consecration an A. It's a very solid American Wild Ale. You get some really nice notes, get a wine-like character, you get some fruit tartness on your tongue, and I wouldn't recommend it if you're trying to get into sour ales or wild ales. I would start maybe more with like the Monk Cafe. That's a Flemish brown style sour. That one has a little more sweetness to it. This one, far more sourness and wine-like quality to it. So that's it for Consecration. Thanks for watching. Please comment and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time for Temptation. Cheers.